Hello there, guys. So imagine that we have a book now that would help you find your true calling in life. If you're lost or you feel like you don't know what's going on and something's missing from your life, this may be the book for you. Okay, so Stephen Cope writes this great book on spirituality based on the Bhagavad Gita. And he gives us certain principles for that I'm going to talk about. He talks about how following our dharma, that means we cannot be anyone that we want to be. We can only be ourselves. Then, second one, how do we embrace obstacles as a philosophy of life? For that helps us expand. And then, third one, we're going to do how do we integrate this practice and this purpose? Oh, and of course, I missed the fourth one. That's taking inspiration from the ones that came before us, because he speaks about very interesting lives that we're going to learn about, like Beethoven, Keats. Who else do we talk about? Susan B. Anthony, Beethoven. So that's that. If you want to know more about it, stay until the end of this video. So first of all, the first lesson that I got from this is that we all have a dharma. That means we all have a calling in our lives, and we have certain gift. We have a gift that makes us ourselves, and this gift can come to us for many things. You know, genetics, probably you're strong, you're tall, and you'd be made for the NBA. Or maybe you are extremely clever. You can grasp concepts really easily. You can take book knowledge and translate it into practical applications really quickly. Or maybe you're a salesman. You know, you have human skills. You can persuade people to be around you, to be part of a project, to inspire them to work towards something higher and bigger than themselves. These are all gifts. And well, we have certain strengths and then we have other weaknesses, or we just simply don't have what other people have. You know, we're different, and that's great. We have different strengths. We look different. We have different languages. So we don't have to get stuck in thinking that we have to be a certain way, you know, and that can come in many forms. Your culture could have told you that perhaps you needed to be an engineer or a doctor to be successful, or that you needed to follow the family path, and then you just know that something's missing. Or perhaps you're not, you know, you can get lucky. You can get lucky and discover your gift early on, and people nurtured your gift and you're doing great, but now you're finding obstacles. And then we're going to talk about a little after that about obstacles. But anyways, we are always there or hovering around our gift. We know that. You could feel it. There was this story in the book about a priest that really wanted to be a musician. So he would hover around the orchestra or the organ when it was playing, and he wanted to be part of the chorus and sing, and would visualize himself doing all this stuff that would bring musical dreams. But you know, he was still devoted to being a priest, and he was giving it all, but something was missing from his life. Not everything was there. He was hovering around the gift, because it stays there. You know, even if we dim that light, if we don't listen to the voice, it's there, and we can always discover it, no matter how old we are. Because there's this beautiful saying in the book and in the Gita, I think: if you bring forth what's inside of you, it will save you. If not, it will destroy you. Ah, that hit me deep. Did it hit you too? It's like, yeah, when you think about it, we all have this thing that just wants to come through if we let it. And that's the second point: obstacles. Whenever we find ourselves following our dharma, we will find obstacles, but obstacles are what help us to polish that carbon into a diamond. I was blanking out on the face there, I believe. You know, obstacles makes us stronger. We have seen this in philosophy all the time. The Stoics talk about it. You see it in every book. You know, you're tired if you see someone just complaining and victimizing everybody and blaming and never does anything. We're just drawn to it intuitively, just like we're drawn to the gift. And we're drawn to people who really express that gift, be it in the arts, you know, in their respective arts, in singing, in performance, in art, in business, in innovation. We are drawn to that gift. We know it. We know it. We just tend to identify with this conditioned self that we have been taught all the time that we need to do this or do that, and we limit ourselves. We box ourselves in. But knowing that obstacles are not a a misfortune. Falling down is part of the business. It's part of learning and growing, and that will help you expand. If you didn't have those obstacles, you would have no sparring partner and you wouldn't be growing higher. And I think that's always a dilemma of sorts. Why can't we just expand without obstacles? I don't know. Perhaps it's just like evolution and genetics are part of it. There's this resistance that's always trying to bring us into the homeostasis so that we survive and pass our genes. It's not like there's some fulfillment going on. Rather, we just have to pass on the genetic material. But that is fucking sad, and depressing. I don't want that. And I believe neither do you. So let's embrace obstacles as growth and nurture that gift whenever we see it in someone else. Be it in a friend, in people, be honest about it and say, like, hey, it seems that you really love this. Why don't you get more into it? Take the time. You could really make someone stay or appreciate what they're done. Like, oh, thank you. I really enjoyed that. I think words can be really encouraging, especially coming from someone that you love or you admire. Yeah. And that leaves me to the third one. If we're talking about inspiration, this guy, Stephen Cope, talks about Beethoven. First of all, Beethoven. He had a lousy childhood. He was suffering. He was neglected as a child. His father basically exploited him because he wanted to play. He saw the talent, but he just wanted to commercially exploit it and not let Beethoven grow artistically as a unique acorn, you could say. He just wanted him to play the commercial music that was already there, was already being developed, and he didn't give a fig about Beethoven. So that really messed Beethoven up in the head. But then he used that. He used all that conflict and merged it into his sonatas, exploring forms that could handle a lot of conflict, a lot of drama in them, that could hold an entire story, an entire adventure in there. And he gave us these beautiful sonatas that deal about having that internal conflict of societal expectations and not knowing what to do and managing all these doubts that live within us and still managing to pursue what is that you love. And when you look at your heroes or inspirations, well, hopefully that they seem like that. We love to overcome those obstacles and be reborn. Even if we have to die symbolically, there is a part of us that dies, a part of us that wanted to stay the same, and we reinvent ourselves day by day, and that's what happens. Happened with Beethoven, happened with Susan B. Anthony, happened with Keats. Keats was another guy who really found his dharma and doubled down on it, did it on purpose. I think that's our life's calling, just find our dharma, do it on purpose, and surrender to life. Surrender to life, surrender to a higher power. I'm still figuring out what that is, coming from an atheist. I don't come from an atheist background, I don't know what I'm saying. A Catholic background, but then I wanted to reject and rebel against everything that was being taught about me. My parents prayed, then I didn't want to pray. So I'm going into that spirituality, and I believe that's powerful to know that we're not alone, but rather we're part of something bigger. Whatever it is, we can get rid of those delusions of grandiosity and thinking that we can be whoever we want to be. We can't, but we can be the best self we can within our context, within ourselves, and still nourish individuality. I believe we don't have to cast it away. No, of course, that's what makes us us. I don't want a black and gray society of automatons and that act the same way. No, of course not. But be the best to our own extents, I believe. And then after that, just embrace it with our whole heart and try to live it day by day. Give it everything that we have and surrender to it. Tarkovsky said this beautiful thing, if you want to make movies, art will make whatever it wants with you, not the other way around. And that's the powerful thing about surrendering to whatever it is. I still think there is something here about having a defined ego that allows us to explore it and then surrender to it. So we have to just balance our energy levels, eating healthy, and I'm still figuring out how that works, because we have a tendency to want sugar. So it's like, oh, the divinity wants me to eat sugar. Well, I don't know. I don't think so, right? So how do we create these systems to bring our instrument, our body, to the best form it can be to handle that divine power. I think that's what it is. And then allow whatever wants to come through us and let it be born. Because otherwise it will just fucking destroy us. But there's no reason for doubt to just cloud our judgment every fucking hour. We can trust ourselves. We can acknowledge that we are enough and we can work from that abundance just because we can bring something forth. Because we want to express something like a boiling pot or a pressure cooker or a steam pot, whatever it freaking is. And that's it. Just allow ourselves to surrender entirely to that, and it can be quite a freaking adventure, you know. Oh, and I was learning this poem. Perhaps this will. I think I just blanked out on it, but it will. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other one, as just as fair, and perhaps with a better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. As for that though the underpass there had worn them really about the same, and both that morning equally lay, no in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first one for another day. And knowing how way leads on to way, I doubt if I should ever come back. Oh, I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere, ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. I don't think there's anything better to end that with. If you like this and you want to be part of the community so we can help ourselves grow and nurture that gift, then hit that subscribe button. And probably, if you're interested, here's going to be another video. Just deep mode thinking now. Have a good one.